see when they log in. I am currently logged in as my developer, who is Jane, and this is what she's going to see when she first opens up the Teamwork window. This is showing you basically at a glance the status of all of the objects that she currently has What Jane can see here at a glance is the status of each and every object that she's working with or can potentially work with. By the icon, you can tell the status of each of the tables, and in this case, we've got views and functions that she's working with in the development environment here. An object that has the little lock next to it indicates that it is a checked-in object. An object that has a little person next to it indicates that this object is currently being checked out by somebody else, and that means that nobody else can change it. And an object that has the little lock next to it that's open indicates that that's an object that's currently checked out by Jane. The object that has the orange icon indicates that this object is not only locked for changes to the schema, but it is also locked for changes to data. And obviously you're not going to be locking every table for data changes, but there are some tables in every application that contain configuration data or lookup tables, and these are certainly things that you would consider to be part of your application configuration, and so you want to manage the control on those, on the data in that table as well. So if Jane tries to make a change to an object that's locked by another user, if we take, for example, the recipe to ingredients table and we go into SQL Developer and try to make a change to this table, the idea here is that the locking between users is managed by the actual database. So regardless of what change tool you're going to be using, if you try to make a change to an object that's locked by Teamwork, then Teamwork is the one that's actually enforcing those locks directly through Oracle. And you can see here that I tried to make a change. It's telling me that the object is currently checked out by Jim right here, and so we can't make a change to this object. Going back to Jane's workstation here, if she does want to make a change, she needs to first of all check the object out. The little lock changes to indicate that this object is now checked out by Jane. And now we can go back to SQL Developer and make a change. For example, say we need to make this notes column bigger. We'll go in, make it 1,000 characters long. Now I can go back into Teamwork and check that change back in. When I do the check-in, I'm required to enter a comment, and I can also associate that change to a particular change set. I have a list of change sets here. I'm going to choose a particular bug fix, for example, enter a comment, and check the object back in. So you notice that in this entire process, the one thing that I didn't have to do is deal with the DDL of the object at all. I didn't have to export the DDL. I didn't have to check the DDL into my SCM library. All of that is done automatically by Teamwork, so I don't have to deal with that, and I don't have to deal with any errors that might pop up, because usually when you start exporting your DDLs and checking them into SCM, that involves manual processes which can be fat-fingered or can break. Here, we're dealing directly with the object. We check out the object itself, we make changes to the object itself, and we check it back in. Now, if I want to see what's going on with a particular object, I can pull up a history of all the changes, and I get a list of all of the versions that I've got for this particular object, who made changes to this object, when those changes happened, what change set those changes were associated with, and I can view the source code or the DDL for that version of the object. I can go back and look at the history of any version just by clicking on the compare. I can go back and compare any version in my history to the live version or to any version back. In this case, I can see that I have a change of 2 columns here from their widths. If I go back to an older version, I can see that there is a completely different change. For example, here I can see that the URL field was added on the 16th of October, where it didn't exist before. I can also roll back to any previous version if I discover that I made a change in error, or if we need to roll back to a previously known good version. I have a rollback button that will allow me to roll back to any previous version in the history. The rollback button is currently disabled because the object is checked in, so I can't make any changes to it. The next step would be, once we've determined that we've made a set of changes and we're happy with it and we're ready to move it to another environment. For example, in this case, we're ready to move from development to QA. This would require us to do some kind of an impact analysis to see what actually is going to move and how much is going to move and what objects may be changed. So what I can do is take a history of the entire project, and we've determined that we want to move the version 2.6 changes from from development to QA in order to allow for QA testing of this new version. So what I can do is I can go to the change sets here. It shows me all of the different activities that are currently defined for the cookbook project. If I select the version 2.6 change set, then in the bottom window here I can see all of the objects and all of the various version changes that have occurred to those objects with respect to the version 2.6 change set. So I've got a basic impact analysis here. I can look at any one of these objects and get its history just to do a spot check. This is something that would be performed by a deployment manager before they actually decide to do the deployment, and it gives you a nice report here of what exactly the changes are, including who made the changes, when they were made, and there's a comment field here as well.